Welcome to our trading room. And to my YouTube viewers, you will be getting today's recording as the weekly outlook. We were off yesterday for the Easter holiday. I know the market moved a little in the New York session, but no big deal. Holidays are holidays and trading goes on every day, right? You still have to live. So let's start. I'm going to start with the dollar index and remind you where we were last week. So last week, this was going down. And remember, I tell you, we were starting the up move and it could come and break this top. That would be the first pattern created. The first 1, 2, 3 on this time frame. Now we still have this one and we still have this one. And I'm not even going to the bigger one coming into it. So the question now this week would be for any trader trading is that, is this going to go break this top or is it going to come back here, return to this low? So both of those are possible. This one is relatively sharp. This is very sharp, but this is relatively sharp, which means there is a chance that this could come back. Now, I don't think it will because this one is really sharp, but I do see a possibility for consolidation and a continuation, maybe even to this top. So what we're going to look for here this week is probably a correction of this type if we're going to go back to the top. So if they're going to go back to the top somewhere here, you'll start to find a correction because this is sharp. It has to make a correction and then go there. So we might be stuck for a couple of days in a correction before we get it. You can see they always make corrections. This is a running flat, a lot of corrections in it. This one is relatively sharp, so bigger correction here before you go. That is if we're going to the top. If this is still in the correction, it can get really messy. So that means that this could come back all the way here. We could even stay here for a while and then go out of this structure. We're right now in this zone, and we need to know whether we're going to break out of this zone or not. In terms of that is in terms of analysis, using wave analysis, right? By the way, if you're stumbling onto this video accidentally for the first time, my name is Daniel Mangal. What you need to do is go check some more of my videos on YouTube and you will have an idea what I'm talking about and why we look at the market the way we do. It's called wave analysis. So in the 1 hour in terms of trading, remember it can go up or it can start to go sideways. I don't think we'll reverse very much. So every time we get a buy setup here, we'll take it. On the 1 hour, we're getting a buy setup. Now, we've got to really be careful of trying to buy this on the 1 hour. Traders get into that trap. You jump into a trade above the top, and then you get yourself into trouble. What I would look for here is a complete pattern, which we don't have. So if this is the pullback here, now you have a trade. You also still have to be aware of this trade when you take it, because there's a good chance that after they've moved this much and we have broken this top, this might just go break the top and start to pull back. Right? The possibility of that is really, really strong because we do have a few sharp waves which we do not have anything for. We have this one. We can either put it with this one. That's one option for a running flat. We do have a lot of corrections to support that there. And we have this one, which we don't have anything. Now, again, we can go and put this one with this. I really don't like that because this is much smaller than that and less sharp than that, right? Now, can we put these two together? I wouldn't do that because this one is really small and this is really huge. So what we're going to look for is what happens here when we finish the top, right? Should it come back here, we will definitely buy it. We'll buy it. We'll be expecting it to continue to go. And should it stop and start to reverse, the first thing you want to exclude is you want to exclude this one. This one I don't think is a problem. I think this would most likely fit with this. But the first thing you want to exclude is this. So we will take the sell. We'll see how far it goes. Try to see if it comes this much and go back up. If it comes this much and consolidate, well, then we have a clear idea what it's doing. We're coming back to retest this low, right? So should it drop that much and then consolidate like this, we're coming to retest the low. We'll have a different structure. This does have a flat in it. We'll either decide whether to put it with this one, or I don't like it with this one. It will have to be with that one. So most likely I'll put it with this one. Right, we're trying to see which of these patterns are the correct ones because we have a lot of sharp pieces. I think by the end of this week, we'll have a clearer version of what's happening inside the consolidation. And I hope we complete this move by the end of this week. So let's assume this B part finishes today or tomorrow. We will probably get a move back to the low and a move back to the top. This should give us a lot. And if you're keen in the way you trade it, you have the understanding of where this is going to go. This is your advantage. If you see that setup where it says it's coming here, and you can see each one of the corrections that is showing you that drop, then the hardest part is just trading. Now, can this go back all the way to the top there? That is also possible because we have euro dropping, pound dropping, New Zealand dropping, yen dropping, Aussie dropping. Those are not accidental. Those are forecast quite a while back, right? So I'm going to go through some of them. Silver. Now, you know, the silver is not going down. It's going up like the dollar. And this is why you don't put correlation in the market. They don't necessarily move. It's not moving big way up, you know, in the dollar. It's not following what the dollar is. The dollar is going up. This is going up, right? It's just silver is gaining its own value. Silver is just becoming more expensive. That's all. That's all that is telling you. So what we look for here, this was a buy in this piece to go up. I think that was last week sometime here. So right now we're looking at this and we're thinking, where would this go? I'm expecting this to come back here because of this piece, right? Because we're at the top there. This is pulling back pretty deep. Last week we were expecting this to drop. Now that it pulled back so deep, we'd have to wait and see whether we're making a bigger flat here or whether we're even retesting this top. I don't think that is possible. It could, because this one is already at the top of this move, which means a flat here would be more upside. Should this come back here, we're going to go back up, right? Because it's already there. That would be a flat of its own here. I don't see the sell setup here as yet, and we definitely are not buying that there. So on silver, we'll probably wait until we get a proper setup. Once this is excluded and, you know, that flat is finished, we'll see where we go. The buy is not really a big one. We don't have a big trade in the buy, but should the sell start, we're going to have a bigger trade. Now, I don't know that they're coming down from there. That sharp piece is kind of, we have to figure out what is that piece doing, what pattern we fit it with, and then we'll decide. We don't have a sell setup. Gold going up too. We still have to get this sharp pullback in gold. We don't have that. At some point, they make a sharp pullback. It went up some more. Any buy setup you get, you should take. We were expecting it to come down. It came down only this much. Not impressive. So should this drop one more, then that would be okay. That would be upside. So we're looking at this move, right? Should it make a flat here even and then drop? That would be okay, because you have a flat in this one here. And you have a small kind of consolidation. So should this come back here and do this, make a flat and then drop one more, that would be upside. All right, we'll definitely go with that as upside. So we have to see if we can get this sell today. There is no sell set up in it at the moment. Also, I wouldn't buy this. All right, this is kind of making a flag here, but we wouldn't. Let's see if that comes to the bottom here first. If it comes to the bottom, go back up, we're definitely selling it because we know that there could be a sudden drop. So we might be looking, the sell would only be a short-term trade if we get it, but then we'll be looking for the buy because this is going to go up more. So I don't think this would be the turning point as yet, which means we'll have to put it much higher, and this one would end up going much higher. All right, so I'll take this out for now. That's the bigger trade. Let's get this out of the way, and then we'll look for the bigger one. You can take this out of it for now until that comes. It will come. It always does come. Right? It doesn't matter. That even if it comes on there, it will be a running flat that we have seen before. Very practical. So what we're going to do is we're going to wait for that setup, wait for a sell setup on this one. Most likely, we're looking for a short-term sell setup. So if I don't get the sell setup and this should go break the top, I still wouldn't be buying it, because if it breaks that top, the chances are it still is going to drop. Right? And there's not a big trade to the upside, which means I don't think this is going to do this today. So the likelihood is even if you break that up, it's just going to do this, pull back here, and then we can go for the buy as a running flat. Now that buy, we'll have to still buy with a lot of caution because we still have this and we still have the bigger one hanging. And we know that. That didn't mean we weren't buying some of these. I didn't hear definitely you don't buy. Now we see if we get that set. So wait for the trade. If you get the trade set up, you take the trade. If you don't, then you just skip it, move on to one that has setup. We had a lot of them with really great setup last week. And that would mean we had Euro, Pound, right? All these were sell setups. The Euro actually went up very nice as expected. That up move, I think Johan actually posted that one when he posted his results. Amazing results, which was this drop here, went back for the running flat. Right, so we got a running flat to the top. Now it started to drop. Came back. We still have this one hanging. So we'll still keep in mind that because, especially now that you have the running flat there, the chances are this could go back up one more, then drop. So go back to the 4. What's the structure? We're just like the dollar index. We're still pretty much in the middle of nowhere. Actually marked all the impulses here so you can see where we are. We haven't broken this one as yet. right? Unlike the dollar index, which broke it. Dollar index broke the top. Euro hasn't broke the lowest yet. So should the dollar index come back, we'd assume that we're making a running flat. Should euro go back from here, we'd assume we're making a regular flat, right? Now, is there a chance that it can break this low? And would we look at this as the flat, or would we look at this as a possible flat forming here first? I think this is the most likely scenario. Even if you break this low, the most likely scenario is they're going to go back up to the top. You're going to go back up to this top, make another flat here, and then come back here. We will still be in this consolidation all week. So what you're going to look for now is a sell setup if you have it. So we do have a sell setup forming. And I mean forming, I don't mean it's ready to go, which means there was a pullback here. You kind of have, this one did break the top. So in this case, it could be a little tricky. We did break the top. This could be only consolidation. This is dropping, but you can see it's not actually dropping. And that's your first key. If you were selling here, we'd be out of that trade already. I think 3 hours passed. So what we're looking for is we're looking at this and we're thinking, okay, if this is going to come here, make a flat and go a little more, let it go, let it pull back, give us a flat here. And then we go for that sell. That will be a safer sell. Now, if you don't think this is going to happen, then you probably wouldn't think that this one up here was going to happen, right? Which we expected and which did happen. Finishing that running back. Now, this one, I'm not sure. We do have 2 corrections in here, but very likely it's going to happen. So we'll be careful for that, right? If we get this sell set up, and very likely we'll get it when it comes here, we'll take it for a drop and then expect this to happen. Now, if that happens, we're going to break the low, right? It's definitely, if you go back up there, this big flat here will drop a lot more to break this low and then definitely break that low. So we'll get a running flat. Can we buy it to the upside? Absolutely. We bought this one. We'll buy this, and we will definitely sell it down once we see it's a running flat. So first, we want the sell setup here. We're looking for a possible sell setup here. And if we don't get the trade, which means, well, there wasn't a really great setup. This just works its way down. I don't know, go like this and then kind of work its way down slowly like this. And we see that, we wouldn't take the trade. We'll just close it and look for the upside. This would be an indication that they're trying to go up, right? So first, we look for the sell setup, the retest, and once we come to this low, we'll have to be very cautious of what's going to happen next. I think this would be the flat. On the dollar index, we don't have that, right? So on the dollar index, we have other possibilities, but this one doesn't have other possibilities. So this would be the flat, right? Whether we get this or not, this could be a standalone. This would be the flat. So with a flat like this here and a flat like that there, I think we can assume we're making a flat. We have seen this in many of the patterns before, where you have a 1, 2, 3 relatively sharp. You have a 1, 2, 3 relatively sharp, right? Whether we get this and we get that and then go back there for a 1, 2, 3 again, which means a 1, 2, 3 again, make that flat. We've seen this in the euro yen, right? Where one of them wasn't like really corrective. They were all 3 looking similar, right? So I think we can expect this to come back and retest this top where we can clearly say we're going to be trading all week in this zone, which means come here and go back up. Now, if you know that, and that actually happens, right? So you can see the turning point, you can see the trades to the upside, and you start getting these flags that are making these trades to the upside and these flags coming into before you get this. We trade all of these. We even trade the downside here because we can see the possibility of that happening. Now, if you didn't make any money here or any money here, wouldn't you make money going up there? Knowing that, having all the facts, understanding how to trade, I think that's pretty easy. The rest of it is easy. How you manage your trade and how you take your trades is going to be the problem. That's all. And we're still in this one. All of this will still be consolidation. So let's see if that happens. What we're going to look for is versus sell setup here and then see where that takes us. Pong. Okay, Pong probably would have been a difficult one to sell because we were expecting a regular flat and we did get a contracting flat because it never broke. So you probably would have seen this yesterday that it didn't take off. This should have taken off and broke the top, right? That would have been the impulse that will go to the downside. Turn out it's a contracting flat. And you would know that when you break this low. Now, this, if you were buying that close to break even, I think pretty easy. This you definitely should have bought it to go break the top. Close it for break even. Now, the question is whether you would have sold this. I don't think so. I probably wouldn't have sold that because it still looks like consolidation that would go. So when this dropped yesterday, you probably would have got the euro. You could have got the Aussie. You could have got the New Zealand. Those were clear sell setups. if you were trading yesterday, but not the pound. I still wouldn't have sold the pound. Although we know, well, once you break this top, you're going down. It didn't break the top. But now we can confirm a contracting flat, which means if you get a sell set up here, you go for it. There's nothing outstanding on this. Unlike some of the other pairs, we don't. The only thing that we can keep that might be outstanding would be this. Right? Because we don't have anything for that. Now, is it the standalone correction? Most likely when you get them like that, you come here, you go back up, you do this, make this a running flat, and then drop. Right? We've seen that before, and I think right here, we've got a few of those, right? Where it is pull back up. So we're going to see if we get the same here, if it pulls back for this. If not, it just continues to go. Where this would go in the bigger picture, we could be coming back to this low. Even if they pull back, we could be coming back to this low. So even if it makes this pull back here, we are actually coming to retest this low most likely. Because we broke the top, we got divergence, and that means that you could literally make this move down before you go down because it's a perfect flat pattern. So any sell setup we get, we will take. Even if we get a 1 hour sell setup or a 15-minute sell setup here, would be a good trade. Now, do we have a sell setup? Not as yet. Again, you do have a small one, but that is really small and it's consolidating here. So even if you take the trade, you close it, you wait for this to finish what it's doing, you wait for it to go back. If it breaks the low, and I think we will break the low, that will be a running flat. You have a perfect sell setup. We'll manage this trade carefully. Should it just drop here and start to go back up for that sharp move that we missed, right, then great. If it doesn't go back up, you're in a trade and it's going well. So we will take the sell. We're looking for a sell setup. Aussie. All sells you should have taken. This one turned out to be the running flat, like these running flats, just like the one we're looking for on the pound and the euro. And we still have this sharp one here. It goes with nothing. So we have it in this one. We have it in the pound. We have it in the euro. And we have it in some of these. I think the gold or the, I think gold has one too. We'll have to check again. So this up move is still possible. It's still downside, right? The whole structure is still downside. We haven't broken the lows yet. That's my only setback, that we're taking too long to break that low. And if this is to do what we think it's going to do, which means if it breaks here and go back up like this, this becomes the running flat. That is the biggest flat. It's bigger than this correction. I think you know where I'm going with that, right? Because then we're going to come back here, break this low. We're going to come to this low. But this becomes the flat inside, which means we go back up there and then drop. Right? That's immediately it's a 1, 2, 3 or a sharp move up and come back. And we have had that before in this pattern, right? That is not new in this pattern where we expect them to go back up and still drop. Where we expect them to go back and drop, right? Like this one, 1, 2, 3, you expect it to go back up there and still drop. Right? That expectation of the sharp move fulfilling itself is always there, and it does happen very often. So in this case, yep, if this becomes a running flat in there, should this go back up to the top there and then come here, this will become the biggest flat. So you will get 1, 2, 3. You get 1, 2, 3. Probably go back up for a 1, 2, 3 here. Make a flat in there and then drop to the low. Pretty much the size of this. And that's what we're looking for, right? A 1, 2, 3. A 1, a 2, and a 3. I first thought that was all, but you can see that it's not all. If that was all, we'd be going down like this really fast. But we're not going down really fast. We're consolidating. So that immediately gives you the clue that, well, okay, if it's not going, then it probably will do this. Come back here, go back up there, do this, make a flat, drop here, and then upside. So let's see if we get that. So now we can move this one. I'll still leave this for now until we get this, because if we don't get that, this thing could drop through the bottom. The only way I would look at one more up is if it actually becomes a running flat. If this keeps dropping, we're coming to the low and then upside. So all these forecasts were done a very long time ago. Now we wait to see how they play out. Come here, any sell setup we get, we'll take, because we are not sure it's going to happen. Very likely, but not sure. So we're going to go with this one. Sell setup, let's see. I think we're getting a sell setup. It's going to consolidate a little more, but we're getting a sell setup. You can actually put an entry order under the low for that. On the 15, that should be a complete one. It's kind of complete. It's kind of pull back, go. So there's no need for anything else. If it drops, you want to trade. So this is an active sell, which means the entry order is already in for the sell. New Zealand, we'll have to go back up. So this was a correction for downside, turned out to be correct. New Zealand is dropping every step of it. We do not need to go back up for the New Zealand. There's no need to. This could be part of this pattern, so there's no need to go back up. There's nothing sharp waiting anywhere. And this might be the clue to what happens to everything, right? This is just going to continue to drop to this point. And then upside, right? This would be the flat, which is the equivalent of this one that we have here. I don't see this going back up for anything. It could make a deeper correction, but I don't see it going back up for anything. You know, by deeper correction, I mean something like this and then drop again. But it's going down. So every sell we get here from all the points that we were looking for, the forecast is downside. So like I said, if you were selling anything, you would sell in New Zealand. That drop was an easy one to sell. Especially when you broke that up on your turn with divergence in play. The internal divergence in there, you'll see it in the 15. See that divergence there? That's a good sell setup. So New Zealand sell, we were looking for another sell setup. We didn't break the top, but if it's a contracting flat, we'll take the trade. But if it's doing this and coming back here, wait for it to go there, and then we try to sell it from the top going down. So what we're going to do is we're going to watch this piece. I'll put an entry order for a sell here, should that be a small contracting flat. But what I want is this to go back up first. Make this flat. Come back here. Go back up there. Once it does that, we'll take this off. Because you don't want this down move to tag you and then drag you back to the top. Because if you get a flat here, I think we all agree we're going to get that up. So once it comes back and break that up, you look for a sell setup here to the downside. Look for a small flag and sell it. We'll sell that and we'll be looking for this trade down. So this should be an easy sell. I'll put this on an active trade, but you be aware of how we're going to change the structure should it do what we think it's going to do, right? CAD. I think this could have been a good buy, especially during the news, because we expect it to go back up. You got a 1, 2, 3. Remember, this one is at the top here. I think we were clear that this is going to go back up. You're getting a buy setup, go with it. Now, remember, this one will probably take you totally out of this structure, out of this correction, right? This could totally go there. Expecting it to go there. Now, I'm not sure this is the one that's going to go, but very likely it could, because this one did not pull back to the low. You see, they were all pulling back to the low. So the worst case is this actually just goes and break the top here and then come back again, right? Still stay in this. If you run a line against it, would be like this. Right, we could still stay in this channel, which means it's coming to the top of the channel and then go back down. That's a good trade. Right, that will be more than a 1-to-1 trade if it should go there. Wait for a buy setup here. We don't have a buy setup. I think you can clearly see that. And I don't think this is going to drop much lower. It will probably just come and tag this low. So I'm expecting this to come here, tag the low and go back up. We're going for that trade. So once it comes and tag the low, we're looking for a buy setup. Swiss, I thought this would drop. It will drop and then go back up, right? We're looking for a break of the low. So now that you're back at the top there, it will probably still come. Right? I still haven't seen the possibility where this is the impulse to the upside. So we'll still have to get this move down, which would be a 1, 2, 3. So take this off. This one is like a very sharp. I don't like this sharp piece. I don't know where we didn't get a beat. Some contracting flag. We don't have anything to match it. We'll just wait. The same thing with this sharp one. So the assumption is you're going to get one similar to that to the downside here. Probably get a similar move like this. Make a big flat and then upside. So we probably could get a sell setup here if we wait for it. Or just leave it until it gives us a proper buy setup. So wait for the buy setup. Where would this go if that completes a flat for upside? Remember that flat is bringing us way back to this top. So if this becomes a big flat like that for upside, it means we're not doing this anymore. So this first impulse, this first move here was whether we were doing this, right? Whether it's going to make a move like this and drop again, right? We don't have that. We already passed that level. We were actually at that level. But once you make this flag, I think we're going up. That would definitely tell us that, you know, maybe they're not going down. It's not a running flat. It's just going to continue to go. So we'll go, we'll see where that takes us. All the way back to the top of this structure. And from there, it could probably come back down or just break out. So the buy setup here is a good one. Especially if we get any news on the Swiss this week. Don't miss that trade. Right? Do we have any sharp thing to go back to? You do have this one. That's the only single one. So we'll see. Maybe we never got it. We never got anything for this one. So that might go. Wait for it to come back here. Don't try to sell it. And then we look for the buy setup. Yen. Yep. Yen will be a buy setup. It's just much more complex. If we look at this as the running flat in here, I think we got that correct. The only problem though is this piece here going up really slow. So if this breaks the top, we will probably look at it as a 1, 2, 3 because it will come back here. And then go. That's one option. The second option is, well, we're still in the correction and this piece is repeating this. Right? So if you pull this line all across, not just to that piece, but basically across here. And this is repeating this, then it would have to go to the top. Let me just put this here. Take this out. That's not a buy. It will have to go to break this top. I can put it back for the break of the top. We'd have to break that top and come back. So this would have to go there, break the top. Right? Come back here sharp like this. Make a new high. Come back and then go. That would complete the running flat. And upside. So the chances are there's a buy setup here that is very small. There's a sell setup to go with. We got this sell setup. We didn't get this one. We got this one. We will definitely get a sell setup here, especially if you know it's going to drop. All you need is a small flag here. Take that trade. Once it comes here, it doesn't have to break the low. So if it turns without breaking the low, you're going for this buy. That is this equivalent of this. And once we break that top, we start looking for this one. So let's see if this pattern plays out. There's a trade to go break that top. I think some traders are in it, but like I said, the chances are it's going to pull back. It's pulling back. It might even consolidate more. This is a 1, 2, 3, but it's not taking off. So this might just stay here a while and then go stay here. You can see this whole piece is going like that, right? It's not going really sharp. This was the only sharp piece in it, right? This is it. So even if you take this trade, you either wait it out, keep a stop lower and wait it out for this to go back up, or just close it, put an entry above the top. Put a stop here and wait for this trade. Right? If it consolidates here more, that's a trade. I don't think it's going to drop from here because if it drops from here, we're totally going down. Right? We're coming down for this one. And I don't see that. That doesn't make sense. No, it's not possible. It doesn't make a lot of sense based on the way we look at patterns. So let it break the top first and then come. And we don't necessarily need to buy that, but if you want, you can put this in active trade. It's a 1-to-1 risk to reward trade, not a very big one. Active buy, sorry. Right? So for my YouTube viewers, we showed you what the majors are going to do and how we look at patterns and what we think of, they're going to do. What I'm showing you there is just the analysis. Analysis is not trading. Analysis is forming your bias as to what is going to happen. Trading now is where you have to have your strategies, right? How you're going to take these trades. And this is where the differentiation of how successful a trader becomes. Because in our group, we have traders of all different levels, skill levels. We have traders who are struggling to break even. We have traders who may take loss for the month. And we have traders who could make 1,300% in a month. Not that they repeat that every month. Don't take that to be that's something. For my traders also, that's not something you can do every 5 weeks, right? Johan did it in 5 weeks. He did really great, excellent. I think all of you saw the post he made in the group. 1,300% in the last 5 weeks. That is super amazing. Even if you do that once a year in any 5-week period, that's amazing. That's super, right? It's rare, but it's super and it's doable. Right? It's possible. We have seen traders done that before, so it's not impossible. It's a compound thing when you double your account and then you keep doubling it for a few times more. So, good job. Well done. Congratulations to Johan. On an average, we see traders make 50, 60%, 30, 40% a month, a week, probably even sometimes. So, it's good. If you make 20% or 10% a month, you're doing great, right? That's compound that by the end of the year, your account will not only get 120%, it will get about 200% because if you make 20% on the way you have, the next month you make 20%, you're making 20% of 120%. So by the end of the year, if you make 20%, your account would have already been doubled. So you're making 20% on double account. That is 40% on your original account. So if you can do that, then I think that's easily doable in our group. Very, very easy to do, especially when you can get out of trades fast, which is the most important thing you can do in your trading. Get rid of bad trades. Good trades will take care of themselves. Here's the thing. If a trade is good, it goes. You don't have to worry about what to do with that trade. You just have to worry about taking profit. Because it goes. That's the whole thing about a good trade. The impulse is there and it goes. When you get headache is when a trade is not going. And if you use the method we give you for managing trades, you can get rid of almost all of them. Some of them might still go, and if they still go, you know how to get back in. Those that don't go, well, okay. So if you get rid of all the trades that you think are not going, let's say all of them you think are not going, you got rid of them. Because the ones that go, they're already gone. You don't have to worry about those. Let's say those are even 5%, and I've shown you that stats, where you will make a ton of money. Because the 5% one are going to give you 2 to 1, 3 to 1, 4 to 1, 5 to 1. Those are the ones that goes. Right? You're going to have really big on them. And those are the ones that will grow your account. The remaining ones is the problem is for you to get rid of them. And if you're good at selecting trades, they're not only going to be 5, they're going to be 10, 15, 20% of the amount of trades you take. Now, I don't think our analysis has showed you that we are missing the direction 90% of the time. We might miss the direction 10% of the time. You're not going to get all 90% of the trades when we miss the direction. So you're going to get half of those. You're going to get 40% of the good ones. And if 40% of your trades are going 1 to 1, 2 to 1, 3 to 1, and you can close the rest of the 60% for break even, I think you know where your account is going to go at the end of the month. Now, how to make more money, you have to trade a lot as well. The amount of trades you're going to take, you can't take one trade a week and expect to double your account. That's not going to happen. But if you're trading 5, 6, 7, 8 trades under 15 minutes a day, the chances are you can double your account in a month. Right? That is possible. Those are doable things. So you just have to be trading more actively. I think a lot of you have seen Johan in the room much more than even I'm in the room, right? He's in the room during mid-New York sessions, mid-London sessions. He's in the room after New York sessions when I'm off. So the more you are there trading, and he's always inviting you guys to join him, right? So you should take the opportunity to do that. Right? There are many times when Johan would leave the post. I'm the only person in the trading room. Where is everyone? You've all seen that post, right? Where is everyone? I'm in the room trading here alone. Somebody join me, right? So use the opportunity to be there now that you know his success rate as well. But don't expect that to be a regular thing. That's kind of once in a while thing, but it's good. He can double his account very often. That's the clue, right? So with that said, I'm going to, for my YouTube viewers, I'm going to do some of these and some of the cryptos, some of the stocks and indices and some of the cryptos. If you want the full sum and you would like to join our group where you get access to trade 24/7, literally 24/7, the room is open for you. All our senior traders come in there at different times of the day, even when I am not there. This is one of the few places where the trading room is open to the entire trading team. As long as you're in the group, you can be the one to access the group and invite people to join you. That doesn't happen in a lot of groups. I don't know if they have a lack of confidence in their traders or they're too scared or what, but we do that here. We even encourage you to share your trades because that's how you learn. And if you look at the people who are sharing more often, are the people who are making better progress, right? You could see all the successful traders, and you can go to YouTube and Google wave analysis, and every single one of them you saw there went through my group of training. They went through the training here. This is where they learn how to share their screens as well, and how to get the confidence in explaining what they're doing. So if you would like to learn to trade, join us. With that said, let's move on. Let's go. Natural gas. Okay, so we've got the up move. We didn't get the down move. It didn't come back here, and it went up some more. So let's see, where would we put that? I still think I'll put it with this one. I still think I'll put it with this one for now. We did come very close to this top. So here's the question. Can we look at some contracting flats in here? Can this one be a contracting flat? Let's say this, for example. We assumed that we would look at contracting flats if we break that up again. Can we look at this as a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and this is the top of that? Let's make that assumption. Since we are way back at the top there, let's make the assumption that it is a contracting flat. If that is a contracting flat, then this should come back one more. I don't see anywhere where we have two contracting flats here, and this is the end of the structure, right? The down move. So what we're going to look for here is the possibility for a sell setup if we get it. We don't have a sell setup. Right now, this is trying to be more of a buy setup because this should go back up there, come back here, and that would be a buy setup for one more impulse up. Here's a problem. This might just break the top and then drop. I would not go with a buy setup on this until it can confirm that we're actually having a very, very strong move, especially until we break this low. We haven't broken this low, see? And this was the correction. So I don't think we're making something else here, which means I'll be very careful if I'm going for any buy. But if it breaks the top and reverse, we will go for the sell setup. Should it break this top here and start coming down, we will take the sell setup. I would just look at it as an expanding flat, which means we'll go with this here as a possible expanding flat and then downside. Let's see where that takes us. I would not take the buy setup here as yet. And if it keeps going up, well, once we break out of this structure here, well, then the buy setup would be, I don't think I'll be losing much because if I'm looking at a buy setup, it needs to break this top. Let it go break that top and then make a correction. And now you can start buying from here. You know, it's either you want to buy from here with risk or you want to buy from here with safety. That's the two difference. You take this risky trade hoping that it's going to go there, and then it end up here and you take a loss. Or you wait for it to prove that it's actually going up, let him go break the top, and then actually make a correction here. Because if it breaks the top, who says it still doesn't drop? Who says this still doesn't drop? Right? So let it make this correction, and now I'm pretty sure we're coming to retest this top. So I can trade this one, rather than trying to catch that and catch myself in trouble. Right? This is not a structure. If this was the low, we'll be buying that already. This is the low. So there's no point. But should this come and break the low, then we start to buy. So let's see if we get the sell setup to come and break this low, and then the buy becomes interesting. Let's go. US oil. Okay, it's still going up more, and we're still in the consolidation. Now, the question is whether this could be a bigger up move from here. Again, we didn't break this low, so it's not going to be a bigger up move. It could be a bigger flat here, but not a bigger up move. All right, this is not going to go break the top and, take off. In terms of buying it, was there a buy setup there that you could have actually taken? Absolutely not. There was no buy setup here because we had this 1, 2, 3. You can make an argument that that's a contracting flat now. Hindsight, you'll always go with contracting flats, hindsight. You can make an argument that that was a contracting flat. Not something I would buy. Right? So now that we've got another one, we're at the top there, all we need to do is stretch this a little more. And if you get any sell setup, still go with it. Because we still have 1, 2, 3. Do we have divergence? I think we still have divergence. And we have more divergence between this and this. The last two here doesn't have divergence, but we have divergence between this. So to have divergence, you'll have to make another flat like that, go back up, and then look for divergence. If we get sell setup, we take it. Right? Now that you've broken the top, if you get a buy setup, you can take it as just one impulse. It will be only a single impulse. Just like this, right? You can take this trade, it's just a single impulse. If you close it, that's a single impulse. So if this pulls back here and make a flag, we can take that trade for one impulse up. Now, can we sell this if it's a sell setup? Let's go to the 15 and see if it's a sell setup. As long as it stays where it is and don't go higher, that's a sell setup. Put an entry here and go for the sell. Now, if it gets back to this top, you take that off. It has to drop like now. So you can put a line to gauge where we want it. I don't want it to go anywhere higher than that. If it gets higher than that, we're not selling. But as it stands, that's a sell setup. Now, it might be a single drop for upside, but that will give you break even. But if it keeps dropping from that point, you want the trade. So this is an active sell. There's 30. I think we had the sell here, and in news we had it here, but once it broke the top, you would take it off, and the sell would come here. I think we were looking for that drop. So if you guys got that yesterday, you did amazing, and that was the sell you should have got. Sell here, stop above there, this drop, because that's a giveaway. We're already looking for that. So this could drop one more or turn. If we get buy setups, we go with it. If you get sell setups, you take it with caution. Right? because this could come here one more. I think there's a chance it could come one more and then go. But if you get a buy setup here, do we have a buy setup there? Let's see. I don't think we do. No, it's looking more like a sell setup because it's forming a flat here like this one. See that? You're forming a flat here. You kind of do this. It will come here, go back up there, make this flat. Especially if this come back to the low. You want it to go back up and then go for the sell and then the upside. So you're going to get a seller. You could take it from this point, one drop and then upside. If it stays here and go back up, if it stays here and go like this, and then come here, we're buying it. So we're looking for the buy setup, but if it makes a sell setup first, it's one trade. But if it gives you the buy setup, we're going for it. Just like we're looking for the sell setup here. Right, so if you were trading yesterday, I think this drop in the news, that would be a really good trade as a perfect sell setup there. Just take it out because we didn't take the trade. I was not there, but we can look for a buy setup here today. S&P 500. Now, this doesn't have the same structure, right? This was also, we were trying to sell that in the news. This would have been this sell. I think that was pretty easy, right? We broke the top. Now, this could continue to drop. We're not looking for more upside. So if we get a sell set up on both of them, this is the sell you should take. Don't second guess this sell because this is the top of the structure coming down. So what you want to happen here, you want this to finish what it's doing. You want this to come down here, go back up there. Actually, you want it to come more and then go back up. And then we're going to sell this. Absolutely take that sell. Even though we don't sell the US 30, although we think there's one more down, we'll definitely sell this. We're looking for a sell setup. There's no way this is going to go. So wait for the sell setup there. I'll take this off. And Nasdaq. Nasdaq, you wouldn't sell. This was the buy that we closed. I would have put the buy. If we were there before the news, I'll put Nasdaq for a buy to come break this top. We're still looking for a buy to go break that top. So this is just another flat. This turns out to be just another correction. And now you have a bigger one. So here's the conflicting part about this. We have this looking upside. We have this looking possible upside. And we have this looking totally downside. Right? Now, this can still go up, especially if you repeat this move, right? If you repeat this move here, if they actually do this and then drop here and then go back up. I think we will see that possibility, right? Of a channel. I wouldn't say that it's a running flat. I'll think it's a channel mostly because this is sharp. So this will probably go up like a channel, pull back, go up, channel at the top there. That's most likely what's going to happen. But we can see that happening here. But in this case, it's definitely looking more upside. We will probably even break this low. So the first move is going to be downside. This might come here, go back up there, drop here, break this low. And then you look for the buy setup. I think this is pretty clear. So if you get this sell, maybe just ignore it. Go with the sell on the S&P 500 because they will all go. This will drop, this will drop, this will drop. But this might not go very far. Now, what if it does this? Well, great. Any other one we sell after that. But for now, this is what we have to be careful of. That structure that is upside, right? I think we still have to complete this piece. We don't have a complete part in it. We'll figure it out later, but this is definitely upside. The entry order would go here, but we'll try to buy it from the bottom. So let's see if we can get it from the bottom. And that is for those. These we will do in the room, in the trading room afterwards. And let's see, Bitcoin. Yep, the drop is still there. We're looking for this sell. That would not be the sell. This will be the sell. Now, maybe because it go at the top, you would not sell that. I think by rule, we would not sell it. Or if you sell it, you'll be very cautious. Now that it's broken out, and now that we've broken out, this still is a flat. So this might not go very far. Right? This might not go very far. Now, the only sell setup you're going to get here now is if this makes a flag. Then you take the drop. Watch it to come back and retest this low. Right? If you make a flag here, we're coming to retest this low and then go back up. If we don't make a flag, then this could end up going back up to the top here, come back here and then go. Right? So I'll still look for a possible flat like this. Now, this could be a buy setup. If you get a move on a flag here, you could go for that buy. So what you want is a sharp impulse here and a small flag here. And you can take this trade to go break the top. So you'll get it somewhere here to about somewhere there. And then you'll have to be careful that it can come back here, complete this flat, and then go. Now, if you're lucky, they actually take off more. Now, what's the caution side of this? You're at the top. You're at the top of the structure. So you've got to be cautious about every buy you take, which means when you get a buy setup and you take the trade, don't be the last person to get out. I don't care if you're the first person to close that trade with profit. I'm okay with that. Just don't be the last person to get out, because then you're going to end up with a loss rather than a win, or a break-even trade rather than profit. So we're consolidating in this range. We will definitely make one more high, but after that, you'll have to be really, really careful. ETH. Okay, no big news here. We did get this downside, except we get it here. We get it from there. So that makes this a flat of its own. Right? That makes this a flat of its own here. And if you're getting a flat in there, then the chances are we're not going down totally. We're going to be stuck here for a while. We're also not going up. Now, the question that you may ask, well, what if this was a 1, 2, 3, and this is just trying to go down lower? I don't think so, because this one did come back all the way to the top there. So this 1, 2, 3 makes more sense for me. Go back up there, come back here, and go back there. You get this, and then come back here, and then probably one more up. The higher we get into this, the more the chance are going to be one more up. If not, if it stays in the lower part of it, we're going down totally. So this consolidation goes back up, come back here, go back up. If this comes to the top here and then drop, we're going up. If it goes down, if we just tip this top, pull back deep, go back to the top, but don't go much higher than that, then we are coming back here. And from there, it's possible all downside. So until this consolidation finish, we wouldn't know which direction it's going. In the bigger picture, the downside is more likely. I think you can see that. That doesn't mean it can't make a new high, or it can't even break this top for a running flat. Right? We know that possibility. So we'll keep track of which one we're getting there. XRP, I think this one is pretty clear. We're trying to go down. And I think it's going to go down. This doesn't have any up part. You see, we're coming back to the low here. That's what I'm looking for on the ETH. If it's going to come back to the low, then we're not going to go up. This is more downside. So you probably just let it drop some more. Here is where you want to start looking for buy setups. Somewhere when we break this low, then we can get back into the buy, because the buy could be a sharp move up, right? Remember, well, it might start slow, but you never know. It could be one sharp move up, or we could get a slow one. But this correction could be over here. It might stay in this one for a while, right? I'm not saying that this doesn't turn out to be this and come here and then go back up there and then, stay here and then break the top and then come here and then go, right? We don't know how long that correction is going to be, but once you break this low, we start looking for a buy setup. This could stay here forever. We've seen that before, right? The longer it stays here, the more we understand that we could sell the top, or we could buy the break of the low to go back up, because that would confirm that this is the core correction. Right? The more it consolidates, the more it's confirming the core correction. So this is coming down. Let's see where it's going to go. We were expecting one more up. No, it didn't go. It actually dropped. So we'd have to decide where to put that sharp one now that it's coming downwards. I know that this broke out. This would have given you a break even if you took it, but it didn't go anywhere. So let's see. I was expecting this to go back up there. So if we keep coming down and it's going to break the low, that means we have to find somewhere to put this sharp one. And nowhere. I don't see anything we can put it with. So we'll leave it open to see if we're making something more complex here. It still looks upside, basically. Structurally, it still looks like it can go upside, but the lower they come or the more they consolidate there, the more it will be downside. Returning, there's no need to get back to that low, right? We already made the low. So it could just be a bigger correction for upside. Just wait. Or wait for it to break the low and look for buy setup. This could drop. It could drop from here. There's no need to go higher than that. It did go high enough. I would still look at this as a 1, 2, 3, which means we still have to get this and this and that. We're consolidating in this range. If you get sell setup, take it. Do we have a sell setup here? I think we do. This one went a little high, but hey, that's a daily chart, right? So let's look at this one. Yeah, there were a lot of sell setups there, like a lot of sell setups. So on the 1 hour, your first sell setup should have been this one. Let me put it like this. Your first sell setup would have been this. Wait for any consolidation sell. Dash. Okay, this one too. We're expecting it to go back up. It's coming. This could be a flat. Be careful. This here could be a flat for upside. So should it go back up, you can buy. Look for a buy setup from here. If it drops, just let it drop. You don't care about it drop, right? You're thinking about a buy setup. Should we get a buy setup? Take it. There's a lot of consolidation here. I don't think it's going to go up in a single straight line. So there will be a lot of consolidations upwards. Dot. Sell setup. We got that right. I think that was clear sell setup. It could drop more. This is a sell setup. That was a good sell setup there. It could drop more, and then we'd look for the buy setup. So sell setup. This could be a flat, by the way. This piece here. So they could go back up, come back here, and then go back up. It's more upside right now. All right, the bigger structure. But that could be a flat. Link. Downside. I think we were expecting this to go break the top. It didn't. So now that you're coming back here, take this off. This could be the top of that whole correction. Right? This entire up move could have been, that could be the top of the entire up move. That is a bit strange. I didn't see this dropping much lower. So this is the top when we are going down. Let's take that out. Maybe it makes a bigger flat here or we just drop. We don't know that as yet. So let's wait and see. Take every sell you get until it breaks this low. Now that you're coming down, every sell you get to break this low, it makes sense. Even if we get a buy setup here, it will be short term. If it gets a buy setup here, it's coming back to retest this top. See? So any buy setup would only bring you to here and then downside. See which comes. We don't have any. We don't have a buy or sell setup at the moment. This didn't break the top. So all the ones we were expecting to go up, break the top, didn't go. So there's more downside. Well, wait. If this keeps going down, we'll retest this low. Right? You need to confirm. We don't have a confirmation of downside there. So this pattern is not correct. We'll have to put this as a standalone like we had before. Or it might be something more complex. Let's wait and see. This is coming to the low. So, if it consolidates in here, it will be a big flat here. If it keeps make a flag itself, you drop it. If it makes a flag for the sell, you take the trade. If you end up with this, that's a drop. Let's finish this off since we're in it. This is downside. The ones that we have for downside actually went. So if you took the ones for the sell, it's good. This is actually showing much more downside to come and retest this low. And it seems to be working well. Let's see if we do that. Can this go back up from here? Let me take the 4 hour and see. I wouldn't be surprised if they do, because this could be a flat. So I wouldn't be surprised if this goes back up. Take this out. Keep an eye out. If this starts going back up, you can get a buy setup. And let's see this. Downside. This one was easy. It's going down, sell. It's coming back to retest this low and then probably even much lower. So the sell here is a good one. And if you repeat 1, 2, 3, right? 1, 2, 3. Come here and then go back up. So, okay, guys, those are the trade. I think this one, a lot of our traders traded also. The sell setup, that was a good sell. It's coming to break this low, and then we'll see what happens from there. Right, so there's a sell setup here in this as well. I think we've got that. So for my YouTube viewers, if you enjoy what we do and you'd like to join us, you know how to do that. Just send me a Skype message. That's the only place you're going to get me. I'm not on WhatsApp. I'm not on anywhere else. Anyone who send you anything telling you I'm soliciting money from you is actually a scammer. So don't follow that. People use my photographs. They use my name. They use all kinds of stuff. And they send you messages. I will not send you any message. You will only get an answer from me if you send me a message on Skype. Mangal457. It's in the description in every video I have. Only then you will get a message from me. Otherwise, you're not going to hear from me. So anybody who send you anything, anywhere, it's not me. You can immediately assume that is not me. If you want to be sure whether it's me, go and send me a Skype message. And then you will know, okay, I'll let you know that it's not me. I think one guy paid some money to some, I think was some what was the Telegram group? And then he sent me a message, hey, you're adding me to your group. And I was like, nope. He said, but I made the payment. I said, where did you make payment? He said, I paid you on Telegram. And I said, well, sorry, I'm not there. So why should I add you to the group if you didn't make payment to me, right? So just keep that in mind. I'm not anywhere there. Send me a Skype message, you'll know. Thank you very much. Have a great week ahead of you, and I will see you next week. Take care. Bye.